Sometimes we run into problems that have things like meters squared or cubic centimeters. How do you deal with those when you must do a conversion problem? That's what this video is about. So if you have one of these problems that has squared or cubed units, what you need to do is to remember to cancel out all of those units as you go. So you either need to write it out in a sort of a factor form, or you need to just remember to square or cube your conversion factors. So one way to approach these problems is to just rewrite them so that they make more sense to you, but you've got to be careful about them. If you see a squared unit like centimeters squared or a cubed unit like meters cubed, and you're trying to do a conversion with that, you must use that conversion factor more than once. Just as an example, what if you were given this problem? Convert 2,000 cubic centimeters to meters cubed. Now, a meter cubed means a box that's a meter on each side. That's about big enough to hold, say, a dishwasher. Pretty big box. Cubic centimeter, on the other hand, is very small. So how many cubic centimeters would be in a cubic meter? Well, a lot of them. Let's find out how to do this type of conversion problem. Here's our problem. You could rewrite that cubic centimeters as centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. What we want to find is cubic meters, so I'm going to write that on the right side of my paper. And now what I need to do is multiply by a conversion factor, or in this case, at least 3 conversion factors. So I need to know some equivalences. So for example, I know that 100 centimeters equals 1 meter, and maybe I can make use of that fact. So if I write 1 meter over 100 centimeters as my conversion factor, that will only cancel out 1 of the centimeters. I need to do it 2 more times in order to fully cancel the cubic centimeters that I started with. Now I have meters times meters times meters, which is going to give me cubic meters. That's the unit that I want, so I only need to do the math. The result is 2,000 times 1 times 1 times 1 in the numerator over 100 times 100 times 100, which is 1,000,000. So it's 2,000 divided by 1,000,000, which equals 0.002. So 2,000 cubic centimeters sounds like a lot. That's 2 liters, but it's only 0.002 cubic meters. I could do this in a slightly different way. If I recognize that I have cubic units, then I'll just cube my conversion factor. So I could write it down like this. I just have to remember to cube that in my calculator. So it's 1 over 100 cubed, and then my cubic centimeters will cancel out, leaving me with meters cubed. And again, it's 2,000 over 1,000,000, which is 0.002. Cubic meters is the answer. Another type of conversion problem that we run into are ones that have fractions to begin with. You do the conversion problem just like before, it's just that sometimes now we have to make sure to be canceling out units on bottom with ones that we supply on top. You write your original fraction in such a way that there are units in the denominator. It does not matter whether you're converting the denominator or numerator first, the result will be the same. Personally, I like converting the top first since I'm used to doing that, and then I'll work on the bottom later. But you just write out one big line of several multiplication factors and you can convert both a numerator or a denominator. Otherwise, you set your work up exactly the same way. For example, what if you were given a density, such as 350 grams per milliliter, and asked to convert that to kilograms per liter. That gram per milliliter is a fraction, and we can set that up as 350 grams over milliliters. You could write a 1 milliliter there if you want to. What I want to get at the end is kilograms per liter. I'll set that up as a fraction as well. Now I need to convert grams to kilograms and milliliters to liters. That's going to require two different conversion factors, and it doesn't matter which one I write first. If I know that 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram, I'll make that into a conversion factor like this. I put 1,000 grams in the denominator to cancel out the grams in the numerator. Now I have kilograms in the numerator, which is what I want. I'll work on the bottom unit. It says milliliters. I want liters. So if I know that 1,000 milliliters equals 1 liter, I can write a conversion factor like this. 1,000 milliliters over 1 liter. This time I put the milliliters on top because it started out on bottom and I want them to cancel. Now I'm going to be left with kilograms over liters, which is what I was asked to find. All I have to do is the math. The 1,000s will cancel out as well, and so will the ones, and so the answer is simply 350. But you must have your units, kilograms per liter. Again, it doesn't matter which order you do this in. If you had put the 1,000 milliliters over 1 liter first and the 1 kilogram over 1,000 grams second, it does not matter about the order of conversion factors. You would have gotten the same result. Just be careful to write everything down and keep up with the units as you go. Then you'll be able to convert all sorts of different problems with ease. Let's do another example. 7,634 milligrams per cubic meter. Let's convert that to megagrams per liter. You have to be careful in the metric system with the abbreviations of the prefixes. If they're capitalized, then it's a very big number. So M in mg over L is million, whereas small m over cubic meters is milli, 1,000ths. So I'm going to need several different conversion factors to do this problem. Here are some equivalences. I'll just pick whichever ones are most convenient at the time. If I write 7,634 milligrams as a numerator and cubic meters as my denominator, I see that I need to get rid of the milligrams, so I see a conversion factor. I could write 1,000 milligrams in the denominator and 1 gram in the numerator. That will change it to grams. It's not the unit that I want. I want megagrams. So if I look at another equivalence, I see 1 million grams equals 1 megagram. Let me put that in fraction form. Notice that I put the grams in the denominator, so they will cancel out with the numerator. Now I'm left with megagrams in the numerator, and that's what I want. So I'll proceed now to cancel out the cubic meters. I see several different units up there that might be useful. I'm going to have to multiply by, say, 1 meter over 100 cubic centimeters, and I'm going to have to do that 3 times. So I'm going to summarize it as 1 meter over 100 centimeters cubed. You might notice it's on the second line of my screen. On your paper, you would write it out all on the same line, but I'm running out of space on the screen, so I've put it down below. Now that will convert from cubic meters to cubic centimeters. I'm not asked for cubic centimeters, I'm asked for liters. So I see another equivalence that might help. 1 cubic centimeter equals 1 milliliter. I can cross out my cubic centimeters. I'm left with milliliters. That's still not the right unit. So I'll use one more equivalence. 1,000 milliliters equals 1 liter. Now my milliliters cancel and I'm left with liters. The only thing unit-wise that I have not canceled out is megagrams over liters, and that's what I was asked to find. Now I just need to do the math part, and if you're careful, you'll see that the thousands cancel each other out, so it's 7634 over a million over, well, no, the million's going to cancel out too. So, oh no, it won't cancel out because it's in the denominator. Forgive me. So it's 7.634 times 10 to the minus 9th power, if you write it in scientific notation, megagrams per liter. Conversion problems are easily accomplished in this day and age by looking on the internet or on apps that you might have on your phone. Personally, I have no problem with that as long as you know what you're doing. You have to type in your values very carefully and make sure you type them on the correct side of the screen. So if you look on the internet and you want to convert from, say, cubic centimeters to meters cubed, there are ways to do that, but you have to type in the values very carefully and then read them very carefully.